Julia. Julia was a lovely, gracious lady of 92 years when I first sat with her. I sat with Julia for 7 nights, and what a bright, caring, knowledgeable woman she was. We talked like old friends for hours each night. I asked her about her life and what she enjoyed doing. When people believe you are actually interested in what they have to say, it opens an entire world of topics and achievements. I found out that this frail, very old person was an outstanding athlete 75 years ago. She said it was not fashionable or approved by the more genteel people of her time. I also discovered she married while very young and lost her only child to polio, something we don't hear of today. Julia then lost her husband to pneumonia, which we can now handle. She told me she never married again because all men seemed so inferior to her husband. What a treat for me to meet and spend so much time talking to this fine person. On our last night, she could hardly wait for me to come and to tell me she was going on a trip today. Being curious, I asked her to tell me about her trip. Well, she said, I'm going to see my mom and dad and Grammy too. Knowing her age and the fact that her Grammy would be about 150 years old, I knew she was telling me in an oblique way that her life was over. But observing her vitality and joy of life, I knew she was a long way from leaving us. What a pleasure to talk with this great person. About 3:30 a.m., she said, I think I will sleep for a while. I could not help kissing her forehead and telling her to rest. I held her hand for a while, and soon she was sound asleep. About 5 a.m., Julia opened her eyes and smiled at me and reached for my hand. She told me how much she enjoyed my company. Then she laid back in the pillows, gave a big sigh, and peacefully left. Julia went on her trip as she said she would, and I knew she had many days left. So much for my knowledge and experience. When the nurses came, they wondered how I ever got her to speak. Apparently, she just sat and rocked back and forth and never spoke to anyone ever. I wonder how many more people there are like Julia out there that know no one cares about them or knows how great a person they used to be. I am so glad I can share experiences like this with my wonderful wife. There is no one else on earth that I can share such an experience with. For just some of my time, I have been so blessed.